Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health stresses for May 12, 2026. We do keep additional graphics at tpatw.com, and we maintain a patient weather storefront on Amazon. Looking at the weather map for Tuesday, it's rather benign. We have high pressure and especially covering about the western half of the country, but there is one low pressure center developing about the Michigan Upper Peninsula and the cool front hanging through Milwaukee across to St. Louis to Kansas City back to Oklahoma City. There is another cold front hanging right about Tampa, and that's pretty typical with most of the unsettled weather here with the Great Lakes into the middle Mississippi Valley and hanging about the southeast, actually probably extending a little further north into the southeastern portion of the country. Looking at our vitality index, which is a measure of the things that can in fact impact the human body, and you can see that we have several areas of focus, but most of it here in the northern plains, here about the Great Lakes, and just a touch here in the southeast. Looking at the change in pressure, one of the weather parameters that has a great impact on people, especially migraine, arthritis, and asthma, we have falling pressure here from Vancouver on into northwestern Washington state, the more significant area of falling pressure here about the Great Lakes and trying to extend its way into the middle Mississippi Valley. But we have rising pressure here in eastern Montana, eastern Wyoming, and up the plains from Nebraska through the Dakotas. Rising pressure also hanging on here about South Carolina and southeastern Georgia. Temperature changes, not all that dramatic, just a little bit of warming again through the Texas Panhandle, trying to overcome that unusual cool, and then a little bit of warming here in the northern Rockies. Looking at the change in dew point, the most significant issue here is we see that rising dew point temperatures, rising vapor pressure here about the Great Lakes. And this is good news. We see that the very much the lifted index or the instability is now finally dropping all the way down to just the areas of the coast about the Gulf, although southeastern Texas here, of course, and into Louisiana, always a little bit unstable just because of the warmth of the Gulf and the flow from the high pressure up into the country. Looking at the change in oxygen availability, we're looking at migraine stresses, especially along the coastal areas from Southern California all the way up across Northern California into and across Oregon, but again, very coastal. We're also looking at a very large significant area of migraine stresses, eastern Montana, eastern Wyoming, and very significant from Nebraska up through the Dakotas and on into Minnesota. We also have that risk of migraine from northern and central Florida up into southern half of Georgia and across into South Carolina. It's pretty significant here in southeastern Georgia. Looking at the asthma and arthritis risk, we do have that risk here, especially across Idaho, and a more significant area of asthma and arthritis risk stretching northeastward from Texas, especially across the Panhandle into Oklahoma, cutting across portions of Kansas, but picking up rather strong here in Louisiana, Arkansas into Missouri, and getting significant again here about the Great Lakes from Michigan, Iowa, northern Illinois, northern Indiana. And there's a little bit of area here in North Carolina. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, tell us where you're located.